So Venezuela back in the news again because the U.S. State Department has issued a level 4 do not travel advisory to the country. Yeah. So if you are an American and you're like, man, it's summertime, sun's out, guns out, let's go party, let's go someplace, right? And you're like, you all of a sudden feel the need to go to Venezuela for some reason. They're saying don't go to Venezuela, right? There's really not a lot of good things going on with the relations between the Venezuelans and the Americans. And it doesn't matter if you voted for Trump or didn't vote for Trump. I mean, they're going to see you as an American, and that's probably the problem, especially if the State Department is issuing a dire travel warning to the country, you know. So remember, folks, if you go to Venezuela, I'm just putting this out there, just say you're Canadian and have, drop the A every once in a while. You know, they're like, oh, where are you from? And you're like, oh, I'm from Quebec, eh? Oh, okay, Quebecois. And they're like, oh, not American? No, not American. It's really sad that outside of our country, we really have to kind of like downplay that we are Americans, right? You know, we're kind of like here, we're all like America, right? Fuck yeah. And then we go abroad and it's all like America, fuck yeah. What'd you say? Nothing, man. I want some poutine and hockey and beer. You know, which could also be mistaken for the Midwest. Anyway, so here's what we know. In May 2025, the U.S. State Department issued a level 4 do not travel advisory for Venezuela, citing escalating threats to American citizens. This actually, at this point, is the highest warning level issued by the agency and underscores, quite frankly, the severity of the situation in the country. This outlines a litany of dangers, including, and I quote here, wrongful detention, torture, kidnapping, terrorism, and of course, civil unrest. Meaning, I guess if you're an American and you're identified in Venezuela, civil unrest could be code for lynching party. Not good. Now, Americans already in Venezuela are strongly urged to leave immediately, as the U.S. government cannot offer any emergency assistance. More or less trying to put it in there by saying, hey, if you're in Venezuela, you're on your own. Good luck. You got to love it, folks. Now, since the closure of the U.S. Embassy in Caracas in 2019, no consular services have been available. So under the first Trump presidency, they closed the embassy in Venezuela. Biden didn't reopen it, I guess. And then now it's also like, if you're an American, you're kind of screwed. So if detained, Americans will often face weeks or months without legal representation or the ability to contact your family. Venezuela has become the top nation in the world for the wrongful detention of U.S. nationals, some held on dubious charges such as terrorism. Yeah, we're really not doing well with there, are we? Now, travelers have also been arrested for unintentionally crossing into Venezuelan territory from neighboring countries like Colombia or Brazil due to poorly marked borders. Reports from human rights organizations detail instances of torture and mistreatment of detainees, including Americans. Additionally, Venezuela suffers from severe healthcare shortages and high levels of violent crime. They are really going not going too far out of the way here to basically say like Venezuela equal bad. And if you're an American, you could be dead. Well, they're not really showing any deceases here, but you could be severely delayed to getting home and walk out of there a little bit worse for wear. Now, the advisory even recommends that anyone still considering travel should prepare a will and establish proof of life protocols, measures that are typically reserved for war zones. Because that sounds fun. In response, Venezuela has issued its own warning against U.S. travel, though many interpret that as retaliatory. I mean, given where the Department of Homeland Security is right now and the stuff ICE is up to, I don't really think it's retaliatory. I think it's also simply a warning of like, maybe things are a little bit hostile if you don't have the right skin color. And I think that kind of applies to both countries at this particular point. So still, the reality on the ground makes travel to Venezuela exceptionally dangerous for right now. I mean, and there's really no other way to look at this as being like a life or death situation, because if you travel down there, there's no diplomatic support, right? You will not have diplomatic immunity. And you're going to be in a regime that is very hostile to outsiders, right? So Americans are like largely on their own if they go into the country. And they should think twice about doing so under any circumstances. And that is a statement that I want to echo. Because, yeah, you really should like not do that. Right? You shouldn't do that. Don't go to Venezuela. Get a chatbot that knows all about Venezuela and go from there. And that actually brings me to like the last story of the day.